the prototype may have more people coming for him in Chapter 5 than he realizes. Hey boomers, it's Mr. OG here. Grab your chips and let's dive into the possibilities today. Huggy Wuggy has been a pawn for the management at Playtime Co. and the prototype in all their crazy plans, and I think he's reached a breaking point. From a restricted video posted on Mob Entertainment's YouTube channel, we know Huggy Wuggy attempted to escape. This attempt being before the hour of joy, yet Huggy Wuggy proves again and again that he doesn't want to be there. So why is Huggy Wuggy left by himself upstairs in Chapter 1? Or trapped upstairs, I should say. He was more than likely assigned to stand guard by the prototype to stop any potential intruders, but Huggy Wuggy ends up giving us the key to the electric room to turn on the power. I believe this foreshadows that he's either luring us in for a greater purpose planned by the prototype, or going against the prototype's wishes entirely. After falling to the depths, we assume Huggy's dead until he reappears at the end of Chapter 4. That being said, recently in October, Fortnite released Huggy Wuggy as a skin, but we also got some new lore notes on the Fortnite map itself. The main lore note that I'm going to focus on reads, Incident Report Experiment 1223. Incident Primary Information. Employee name Dr. Jessica Newman. Department Research. Just after 8 p.m. we extracted Experiment 1222 Mommy Longlegs and placed her in containment with Experiment 1223 redacted. Having learned from the case of Experiment 1170 Huggy Wuggy, we attempted to redact it in hopes that this could prove therapeutic for Mommy's harsh behavior. We attempted to explain to 1222 that 1223 could work alongside her. That provided she maintained good behavior, she redacted. However, 1222 became physically combative. 1223 was scared, unsure what to do. Security staff escaped with minimal injuries, but only because in that moment, all that mattered was being rid of the thing that she believed would take her kids from her. 1223 was redacted. Before the sedation of 1222 could take effect, incident causes, improper conditioning of 1223, and continued abnormalities in 122's personality. Notes: clearly, cases like this demonstrate that conditioning procedures cannot be applied unilaterally across different subjects. Individual psychological factors will always be a barrier, and we need to be prepared for adjustments. Less lives and resources will be spent if we can. This note ultimately symbolizes how Kissy Missy calms Huggy Wuggy down. Notice the text. Having learned from the case of Experiment 1170 Huggy Wuggy, we attempted to redact it in hopes that this could prove therapeutic for Mommy's harsh behavior, implying that they used another experiment that shared similar traits as a therapy procedure for Huggy Wuggy. The only logical experiment being Kissy Missy, because she is not only a gender counterpart, but a similar being in a multitude of ways to Huggy Wuggy. Unfortunately, the same procedure didn't prove to have the same outcome for Mommy Longlegs and what we assume to be Daddy Longlegs. She ultimately saw him as a threat to her position and influence. She was happy with the process of watching the children and immediately removes any potential variables in that equation. Going back to Kissy Missy's current situation, being burned and ripping off one of her arms, it's safe to assume that Huggy Wuggy isn't aware of Kissy Missy's condition. I believe when he finds her again in Chapter 5, he will calm down from slamming the door and direct all his anger towards the prototype, as he will believe the prototype is to blame for his friend's damaged condition, ultimately leading to a climatic moment where the real hero of the story could be Huggy Wuggy. This situation is just a possibility or a theory, but I could be completely wrong here. As it stands, the prototype has Kissy Missy, Poppy, and the player going against him, but gaining Huggy Wuggy as an ally could change everything. We can't forget the new allies we'll meet in Chapter 5, either as newly released trademark names such as Lily Lovebraids, could prove to be formidable if they've survived this long in the depths of the factory. Another lore discovered note reads, Dear Diary, March 7th, 1960. Dear Diary, do you think I'll still love this place when I'm a grown-up? Some kids at school were saying that when you get old, you get bitter and you don't like the things you used to. I turned 11 today, and it's still the most magical place to me. Every year they make new toys, like that little sailor, or build new parts of the factory. And I can't wait to go explore them and be surrounded by that magic. Father says Playtime wants to build all sorts of stuff like this all over the world. When they do, I hope he takes us there to visit. Heart Poppy. Now, this note on its own has huge implications. Not only is it confirmed that Poppy is Elliot's daughter, but her name is actually Poppy as well, not just the doll's name. This can also mean that the next location we're going to be going to soon should be Poppy Play Park, another trademark name by Mob Entertainment. The places around the world she was talking about could be this amusement park that got created somewhere that we know nothing about yet. Going back to the text in the note for a second, we're going to focus on that little sailor text that I think is Chum Chumpkins, another trademark name by Mob Entertainment. If we look closely at the teaser trailer, we can see some magma bubbles on the floor. Now, how befitting would it be for the sailor to actually not thrive in water, but thrive in some sort of magma fluid? Going back to the prototype's army for a second, when we really look at the experiments, Mommy Longlegs feared the prototype, but ultimately didn't seem to follow his orders. That's why in chapter 2, she says this after getting caught in the grinder.
What have you done? You make me part of you! You can't do this to me!
Her reaction portraying that she listened to the prototype out of fear more than loyalty. Huggy Wuggy didn't exactly portray any loyalty towards the prototype because he gave us the key to turn on the power and get deeper into the factory. Honestly, Huggy Wuggy could have finished us off right then and there, before we did anything. Strangely, Catnap was the prototype's biggest follower, but the prototype represented himself as Ollie and helped us defeat him. Miss Delight seemed to be a loose cannon in the school and didn't really follow his orders, as we learned from her VHS tape.
Are the children safe? Yes. Can I see them? No. And that was it. That's all he'd tell me. Probably because he knew I'd kill them all.
The smiling critters and the nightmare critters all just seemed to follow Dr. Sawyer's orders. Harley Sawyer himself was forced to help the prototype, and eventually grew to liking him just because they had to work together. In an official Mob Entertainment video, Harley Sawyer answers some troubling questions, and in one of the questions, he says that he would swap places with the prototype. He doesn't say the prototype, but it's heavily implied.
There's only one I'd even consider swapping places with. Though, his predicament is only marginally better than mine.
Garnaby also followed Harley Sawyer, not exactly the prototype, so how befitting would it be if everybody turns on the prototype, even Huggy Wuggy? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Make sure you guys smash the like button on this video, comment down below your thoughts and theories on this topic. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. GG's, boomers.